signal in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Transmitting signal down.
Alright, let's hit the unmute button this time. Alright, hello everyone. Hope you all are having a good evening. Yeah, I don't have my cards yet, but I actually don't have the cards yet because I'm going to order them and pick them up at Cascadia. So, or I skipped ordering them to pick them up at Cascadia because for those of you who aren't going, you can pick up your cards there. Yeah, new set is really hype. I've been having a lot of fun with it, though. Interestingly, despite being a die-hard HB player and hyping up a lot of the HB cards in the set review with that I did with Andre, which you can see. Oh goodness, now I do want to adjust this crop a bit more. Sorry, now I'm like obsessed with some small things. Okay, let's make this like 60. We can maybe even take that in a touch more. And yeah, maybe we can. Yeah, okay, so I think probably this is what everyone wants to see at the start of a stream, is just fiddling with camera settings. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, I'm going to be picking up my set, but that didn't stop me from playing in a Jank tournament yesterday and failing at both building Jank and finishing highly. So failure on all fronts, but other people brought some really fun janky decks. So I'm going to quickly shout those out. This was also a goodbye to two players, Solemn Storm and Charlotte, who have been huge parts of Solemn Storm has been a huge part of the Boston meta for a long time and is moving out to Colorado. And Charlotte is moving back to... Oh goodness, you know what? I'm not going to say the country because she's told me and I have since forgotten. But somewhere in Europe. And I actually... Oh, I'll need to bug Craig to post his list. This is a GameNet list that's whole goal... was, and this is a combo was to play GameNet, install and res a Thimble Rig, and then using Pivot to find it consistently. So search the card for a deck and an operation, then use that to play Eavesdrop on the Thimble Rig. So whenever the runner encounters host ice, trace 3 is successful, give the runner a tag. And then if they paid into that trace, then you would gain a GameNet credit. And then at some point also, there ended up being pretty consistently a rover algorithm on that Thimble Rig. So the Heist O's has +1 strength for each power counter on rover. Whenever the runner passes host ice, place a power counter on rover algorithm. So he would just be moving the Thimble Rig around, giving the runner a tag, or making them pay into it, making him money, and then increasing the strength of that Thimble Rig over and over again. It got up to strength 7 or 8, I think, and then Charlotte installed a Monkey Wrench out of Arasana, along with a Slap Vandal, and a Cubon. So I think there was 5 cards hosted on the Thimble Rig at once, 3 from the runner and 2 from the court. Technically, Rover Algorithm and Eavesdrop were not hosted cards. They were hosted condition counters, but that only mattered to Jamie. For the rest of us, it was 5 cards on a Thimble Rig. But I, meanwhile, played a Bad Freedom and a good op that I went 2-1 with because I lost 8 points in 8 accesses, which on R&D, which just happens sometimes. And this is a fun, aggressive Tau list using 2x Hermes. Probably something I'll definitely play around with at some point. And then we got Greasy Cats. I think this is attempt to make a tagging PD deck. But its ways of generating tags are single Oppo Research, 2 Jaguarundis. So I think that might be why Ben did not get out enough tags. But anyway, we're here to build with the new HB cards that are fun. So I think cards that I would think about building with, I'm just not a salvo testing kind of guy. Just not really me. I think the same thing goes for Jaguarundi for me. Maybe we can think about it, but to me this is not a card that fits in the type of HP decks I like to build. And Bruising the Palm, I think, is a really good Eternal card. I'm less sold on it, but Vovo, Mick, Ablative Barrier, Wage Workers, and maybe even Stegodon all seem like a lot of fun, so I'm going to try and build with some of those today. I'm going to maybe start with a really boring one, though. Let's just go and build Precision Design, see what that looks like. So I think we want our Luminals. Yeah, Vovo seems quite good. I actually think Vovo is also really good in a Precision Design style game plan. So I'm definitely interested to see it here. I actually think Ablative Barrier seems fantastic for us because it lets us recur our Anoetic Voids. Lets us Spin Doctors, Managarm. Let's do 2 Managarms. I feel like this is roughly right. Maybe it should be 3 Managarm. Rashida, Border Control, and then we've got our standards of Seamless Launch. I feel like we might actually want Brands because they're an annoying ice. And we also have Mick, which maybe we could run 2 copies of, and Ansel, which we could run 2 copies of, and Drafter, which we probably run 3 copies of. And then Gatekeeper, we run 2 and 2 magnets. That's probably too much ice. Yeah, that's way, way too much ice. I like Mick. Maybe we can actually cut the Gatekeepers. And maybe the 3rd Drafter. It's 15 ice, a little bit high. Maybe we'll go down to 2 Ablative Barriers. And then we will do... what do we want? Do we want to try a single pivot? Could be interesting. We'll find other uses for that influence, I think, when we actually build stuff. But Vitruvius and Off-World Office. Oh, I put in too many agenda points. It's probably 2 Vitruvii. This is the kind of classic 8-thing agenda suite. I'm not sure if Pivot's the best card in the set, but it's certainly a card in the set. It's pretty slow, but seems alright. Okay, so we spent our 15 influence. I mean, this just seems like this is just bog standard PD. And our only new card is Vovo, Ablative, and Mick. So let's check back at the set and see if there's another card we can maybe force in here just to get a feeling for how it works. I mean, we could actually think about putting in a Greasing the Palm as some extra econ. I don't think we want any of the other cards. I don't think Stegodon makes sense for us. We're not playing multiple remotes, so Wage Workers isn't. But yeah, I think this is alright. Bog Standard PD. Let's give this a shot. One thing I have found is that, like, again, there's not that many people playing highly tuned runners at the moment, so it's a little bit difficult to judge Corp decks, but we'll see what that gets us to. What is this? This is libpd. Oh, we have a new first Corp deck. That's exciting. Live Twitch/YouTube. I don't need to say anything else. That's very nice. Let's switch over to the JNet screen, so I'm off in the tiny corner. I hope everyone else has been having fun. I am in the midst of figuring out what I'm bringing to Cascadia. Actually, I should probably try a pivot in my Cascadia deck. What's my Cascadia target when at threat? It's a couple of value cards. It allows me to be pretty aggressive with early border controls, as well as early MICs. And hopefully with Vovo, I can res them pretty cheaply. Like, resing a border control for 2 and a Mick for 4 is probably good. It also lets me recur Analytic Voids and Managarm Skunkworks, which also seem like good targets. So it's not like a, oh, I'm recurring specific thing. It's a, I have a toolbox of cards I want to recur, and that I'll try and make that work for me. Oh, it's Dr. Awkward. I have not seen them around in a hot minute. This is a mulligan, though. Hey, Andre. Cascadia is the U.S. Nationals that's happening this weekend. Well, this is definitely an awkward start. Let's see. I don't actually care about these ice positions that much. I think we're just gonna go. We have to click for a credit at some point. But yeah, at the start of as I was saying at the start of the stream, Andre, we just did a jank day, and I failed both at building a janky deck and at winning the event. So feeling real good about my net runner at the moment. But no, I'm getting hyped for a Cascadia. I'm hearing rumblings that Arasana might be good. I'm hearing rumblings that Op might be all right. So I'm a happy camper, all things considered. Okay, I mean this is going to be a okay-ish turn. Actually, I should probably do it this way. Yeah, that would have been good to do a different way. Let's see. Yeah, this was a weird play on my part. Yeah, I'm just not doing anything intelligent here, so this is going to be an interesting turn if my opponent challenges me on it. Which they should with 12 credits in an SMC and a Hermes. Oof. Overclock into here. Yeah. This was a weird play for me. That's all I can really say, 5 sure. Some really great turn 8 Ace decks. That's exciting. I've seen some Oppo research aces to kind of follow up on the Mad aces that we were seeing played at Continentals. And I want to try and build Ace later, so maybe Andre, if you're, I don't know how long you'll be around for, but I might lean on you a little bit for figuring out what that looks like. Okay. Fortunately, my opponent actually made my ice placement better because I made it so bad at the start of the game. But I think this is potentially survivable here. Do I res this? I think I will res this Tranquility Home Grid. I think it's important enough that I don't want to lose on the single here. Oh, Vovo Zeddy gets trashed. That's interesting. Wow, they are really going after my econ. I think because I have the second Tranquility Home Grid. Alright, I will, Andre, maybe, I don't know if you'll be around for another, like, if you'll be around to the end of this game. Because I'd be happy to go and build it quickly, but, see, I mean, this is not cheap to get through. I think you just let it bounce at this point because it's all your money. Yeah. Okay, opponent's doing the discretion is the better part of valor thing. I need an installable card that isn't an agenda. Oif. Oif. Okay, greasing the palm would probably be good here. Vitruvia seems bad here, and this pivot is not going to get me anything of value. Because I mostly wanted pivot to deal with the, like, we don't draw any agendas phase of the game. Though we probably can do something like... I mean, if we can get a Vovo, we can actually do some real threats, but now we maybe can't. We probably still can. It's still going to be... it's probably only 2 credits to break the magnet now, so it really needs to be some pretty impressive econ here. Does not count as impressive econ. Yeah, this is also why I'm losing games, because I'm playing badly. Magnet's not super helpful in this matchup. So we have a turn of credit, hedge fund, build up a board state. My opponent's doing the very smart thing of just getting their board built. Miss Bones, I think, is a very nice little meta call here. Oh, interesting. Don't know how I feel about this. This is like a not that cheap run. Like, paying 3 to go and clear out my Tranquility Home Grid seems a little bit suspect to me. Credit, hedge, and put this back in server 1. And we're starting to get back up in econ. Hey, Jamie. I did give a shout out. I don't remember what your decks were too closely, so I didn't give your decks in particular a shout out, but I did mention the jank night we had. So okay, I think eating 2 Tranquility Home Grids with Bones, it's not ideal, but I'll take it. Miss Bones is sure a card. Okay, so I think this is... Is it Bran on server 1? Or do I make them like... Yeah, probably it's just Bran on server 1. Install this in server 1. Click for a credit. Oh, right. The Price is Right that was a good one. Yeah, Price is Right. So 3 cost Kushik Nat was fun. Oh, this is the awkward thing with Hermes, is that I actually probably do need to be icing up everything a little defensively. Okay, Carmen comes down. Good. So, I think my turn is actually Seamless, Score, add a Seamless back to hand, as much as I would love to add some of these other cards back to my hand. Now I let Hermes bounce. So we're gonna do a swap. I think Conjuring Me to Death is actually they're not in a good board state to conduit me to death here. It's definitely an option that you can try and swing for with Hermes out. But I don't think it's actually that good of an option. Reason being, if you don't hit an agenda on a conduit dig there, and I have any amount of ice, I just slam it on R&D, and the runner's down a bunch of tempo. Yeah, a lot of decks are on also Tomb of Irises right now, so I still like Conduit as a runner win condition because we're in a fairly asset-heavy meta, so Conduit's a decent way to punish that. Or I think a better way than Deep Dive, but I might be wrong about that. It's something I definitely want to explore a bit more. Oof, that's a weird draw for me. So this is going to get broken for 4 credits. I don't mind that. I wonder if I... No, the Ico, because it's self-defensive, we do this. You've been getting frustrated playing Arasana into HB. Their entire ice suite is so good in Trojan stuff. Yeah, I have to play that matchup more. I haven't, like, I feel like I've just been playing against Pigeon Fighter, and I'm just learning really well how to fight Pigeon Fighter as Arasana, or whatever the new one is called. Let's see. I wonder if I just want the... No, I want the... as much as I would love to get a Managarm back, Threat 3 is active, which is pretty good for us if we can find our ablative barriers. So far, we've played no new cards. Alright, here comes the Conduit. So Runner is on 11, so it's like not an unreasonable threat. Like the important thing about the Conduit here is it lets them also threaten the remote and HQ, whereas like, because unless they hit on this, and we have an Ikoa still in the deck, yeah, so this looks like a trash decision. Yeah, because now I can go Bran on R&D. It's going to be very expensive to break. Do I just push the Ikoa? It's a little bit risky to push the Ikoa here. I might even double Bran R&D. That makes it like... We've probably traded turns here, but I think long term that sets up better for me. Okay, so we're getting a Corroder down. Corroder is 7 to break a Bran, which beats 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, which does beat a... Oh, okay. Here comes the K2CP Turbine. Does Hush eat conditions? Oh, ooh, that's a good question for not me. Depends if the condition has an ability or it gives the host card an ability. Woof. Rover Algorithm has the ability on the counter. Okay, what's my res here? Oh god, that's going to be a brutal res when they run R&D or HQ here. Yeah, we have to look at Eavesdrop real quick. As a host of condition counter, so it also has the text. Okay, so they spend a click so that I couldn't install from HQ or Archives, which I think makes sense. Alright, so this is the turn we kind of have to push for something. Oh, and we got exactly the tools we need. Okay. So this is install Managarm in Server 1. Install Ikoa in Server 1, and then advance. And we're just going to do our PD thing on turn 12. So... it looks like it might be a touch loud here. Oh, it's now only 2 credits, so they get in just fine here. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, but they don't have the 2 clicks and 5 credits. So that does matter. Oh, I'm also getting pinged. Does that matter? Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Managarm Ikoa, kind of nice. In theory, this Mick would also be good here. But yeah, they are 2 credits short at the end of the game. And it's like, oh, hey. I mean, it's funny, because it's like, oh, if their Conduit did get hit, I couldn't go for this push. I wouldn't have the Drafter here. But the Conduit gamble is really big. Like, I actually wonder if they just run R&D. No, they just have nothing. Wow, that's unfortunate. Wow, agenda density is so low in this deck. Holy smokes, there's 1 agenda in our... Oh, okay. It's so low because I have literally 2 points on the bottom, 1 more point, and a Vitruvius. Like, That's so nice. I have had so many op games where you're just like about to win and then like, oh wait, I still have 5 agendas left in the deck somehow, and so I can lose. Um, but yeah, I mean it's in 17 cards, or really 19 cards. There are still 4 agendas. There's only 4 agendas left, and they need to hit at least 2 and probably 3 of them, which definitely feels pretty good. All right, so Andre is a big fan of a style, a combination that I don't think is going to be very good, but I could be wrong. So the idea is that we're going to play Asa Group. We're going to put 3 wage workers in. We're going to put 3 fully operationals in, and then what? 2 your digital lives, I assume. 2x your digital life. Spin Doctors. Okay, so how do we convert it? Let's say we do the thing where we draw a bunch of cards, we gain a bunch of credits. How are we converting this to a win? I guess it's big deal, right? It's 2 big deals. Is it 3 Ikawas? Biotics? No big deals, do you think? Okay, so we maybe aren't running that. Score Vitruvius with counters, and then just do it all over again. You just, like, way overpay on the Project Vitruvius. So it's just, like, the standard... So it's just this suite, then. We play 3 Biotics. Do we play Bass as well? As, like, a thing we can sit in a remote? Let's see. We want probably Nico campaigns. Or maybe we want Maryland campaigns instead. Okay, then for cards we want Manigar. Oh, interesting. Hagen, Gatekeeper, Magnet, MICs. We're trying to build some kind of your digital life ASA. MIC is such a... It's just a lose your turn face check. Digital operational. I guess it has to be fully digital life or something. Because we play them in that order. I mean, I'd be kind of interested to see if we can, like, go up. Actually, it's probably 2 Gatekeepers, 3 Magnets. Border Control, 2 of... I really like Ablative Barrier. This is a lot of... And then it's, what, just Drafters and then Ansel? This is too much ice. I need to cut the Ablative Barriers again, I guess. Alright, because this is 19 pieces of ice. I guess it's just Gate... Do we cut the Gatekeeper 2 mix? I'm like, but what are we... Why are we making all... I guess we're just making this money to fast advance. 14, 17. There's still too many pieces of ice. I think we want to cut 2 here. Is there any good... Like, do we want to run a Tarubola? And then cut a Magnet? Rashida we need, thank you. Okay, so we're out of slots. We have 14 assets. We can cut the Basses in theory. I'll put it down to 1. You need Seamless. I don't think we're scoring that. I honestly think I'd rather go Biotic score if we're making a ton of money. We could actually just do the full-on combo, right? We could just do this. I think Seamless also, in theory, gets you Vitruvius counters. I feel like I would honestly rather have a Bass. And I know those are entirely different cards. Okay, that's a fair argument. That's a fair argument. It does just make your scoring plan much more flexible. I guess 3 Bionics also make your scoring plan pretty flexible, but Bionicking is expensive. Okay, so we've got 2 influence to spend that I really want to be spending on global foods. But for some reason, I'm not allowed to spend it on global foods. I don't know why rules has or why rotation has forsaken me and not let me play global food. Just have been a card that was reserved forever. Saying that 100% facetiously in case people are not. Oh, and I have to change the format here because it's trying to taunt me by letting me put global food in there. Can we have a Deuces Wild for Corpse? That would be nice. Could attitude adjustment, I guess. I'd love a 2. Do we just run a front company just for shits and giggles? Because we actually have a decent amount of click taxing. I mean, we could also run the call the top card, but we don't have a good way of landing that. DBS is also a reasonable include. Could run extract. Forma carry. Yeah, run a single Forma carry. Yeah, I think that probably makes the most sense. I think that makes more sense than the front company. Okay, and now I get to put 1 slot back in. And we'll go to the 3rd Gatekeeper. Forma carry does not trigger it. The only... So, I mean, look. I don't think swaps should have been ruled as installs, but... The only thing the only thing that makes installs is installing from a zone like the hand or the deck onto the swapping from the hand or from the deck onto the field. So I think mutate. So whereas moving a card from one place to another still on the board is not swapping from an uninstalled location to an installed location. So it doesn't count as a ASA install. Fully digital life. Is Trank better than Maryland? I don't think so. I think Vovo, though, is not being played here and seems like he belongs quite a bit. Vovo, I feel like, is better than Tranquility Grid in this deck. Okay, so what would the cuts be? 17 ice. So we're going to cut an ice to make this work. I'm going to cut 6 barriers, 7 code gates. 4 sentries is too many. 4 carries just suck. Okay, I like these, so it's cutting some of these, or some, like this is too many barriers to be cut ablative because our combo is not cards that we install. 11, 15 to 12. You could maybe cut a Maryland and go back up 1 ablative. because we don't need the Maryland too much. This ruling, the current ruling, is a buff to Devas. Devas, as they existed, did not count as install, so you could not spend... Like, this is one of those weird things where technically we've created another infinite, though it's not actually practically infinite, which is, I think with Technical Writer, it counts whenever you install, you get to place one. So if you have 3 Technical Writers down, and then you swap a Deva, you would technically be making a credit, but because you can't spend that credit, I don't think you're ever doing it. Or like you can't practically go infinite, even if you could. 16 ice is a lot for an Asa deck. Most Asa decks I've been running are around... Yeah, this has too much ice. But I just want to try Ablative Barrier, and I want to try Hagen, and Border Control is such a good card. Gatekeeper seems great. I guess I could cut a Gatekeeper for another Maryland. Yeah, that's probably right. I just really like Gatekeeper as an Asa Ice, because it's a good, exactly what I want it to be. So we're at 15 ice. Yeah, that seems fine. Yeah, I just, like, there's been so many swaps in Jinteki and stuff that, like, I don't like the swaps changing too much. But that's, you know, it is what it is. Fully digital life. Yeah, and it's not like Magnet hasn't taken the Gatekeeper slot before. So... YouTube. Yeah, the other thing actually that I meant to build, and maybe we'll build later, is Tucana PD. So you just spend 6 influence on Tucanas out of Precision Design, and just hyper aggressively push. So your influence is like 2 Tucanas, a Border Control, and 3 Spin Doctors, and that's 12? No. Yeah, Border Control plus 3 spin. Yeah, so it's 2 Border Controls, 3 spins, and 2 Tucanas. And then you just, like, turbo push out of a remote, and try and get tempo whether you score or don't. And if you can start scoring, you just kind of steamroll in a pretty crazy way, because you score an Offload Office, gain 7, return a Seamless to your hand, and then install an Ice paying 3 less. And potentially an additional 2 less if you put it on a Bobo server. So, seems like a lot of fun. And then you can also grab your best ice for the matchup. Alright, we're getting invaded. We got Invader swinging by. Alright, so... This is a marginal hand. But... I feel like I could mulligan into worse. Okay, I just mulliganed into a very good hand. So I have nothing I care about on centrals. So I think I do something like this. Actually, that's not what I want to do. Okay. Okay. I think this is fine. So the nice thing now is we basically get to reduce the res cost of Gatekeeper by 1, which is fantastic. Actually makes the play much better, and then we can slide Vovo around to our next server now that Amakua is down, and making our life much more challenging. The Hagen also is like pretty nice. Oh, you know what? Tomb of Viruses is almost certainly better than the former carry here. And we just cut one of those Marylands. And don't feel bad about it at all. Okay. So we're going to go new remote. Draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards. Gain 2 credits. And we'll put ablative on R&D. This is an awkward discard because we don't have anything happening here. Hey, cat. This is a very weird discard, but it's a weird discard because I like every card in my hand. So I guess I go with the weakest card in my hand, which is definitely an odd one. Alright, so we're seeing Buzzsaw, Fermenter. Yeah, I definitely want... Okay. We're going to go back to this list, and we're going to find 2 slots. Okay. A virus. Okay, so... Oh, we just need to find 1 slot, which I think we discussed was the 3rd Maryland campaign. Beautiful. Alright, already feel better about this deck. Okay. Opponent called our bluff, per se. I would love a Wage Workers already, but I think I can just fully opt to draw 2 cards. I think we're just gonna gain that. I think actually the Luminal is my best score here because I'm doing fine on credits. So I want to keep the tempo moving. Oh wow, I can't count. And then we get to Ice Archives as well. There's maybe a world where I go for Biotic Labor at some point in there. Moshing, no free lunch. This is 38. Oh, this is definitely a bigger Hosh, right? Because this is 41, 46, a 50 card Hosh. Oh, we could just get to score a Luminal here. Okay, so I think this is actually a slow turn. Oh, actually, yeah. No, I'd rather keep the... Because there's a line where I purge here. There was also a line where I seamlessed the Luminal, then installed the Vitruvius and purge. So I think actually just going, like... I can't remember how ASA works. And then we're going to sequencing, draw a card, and click for a credit. And this is actually a pretty safe remote, and I can seamless the Vitruvius now. And that will turn on the Ablative Barrier, that will turn on... That's the only threat card in our deck. It's actually, I feel like the threat card, the only threat card I felt like has been super impactful so far has been... Actually, no, there's been 2. One of them I wish was threat 4 already. But that's fine.
And now, broadcasting live from our near-Earth host studio, we bring you this.
Let's see. I would love to get this Wage Workers. Oh wait, why are we playing Seamless when we have Wage Workers in the deck? It does the same thing but better for us, right? And if our opponent's able to trash all this stuff, I think we're already behind, so I don't mind. Draft Res feels good here. I'd love to get back a fully op. We could also just install the Offworld Office in Server 1, so I suspect that's not going to happen. I suspect we're going to get back a fully op, which feels pretty dang good. Yeah, it's funny, if this turtle was at... Oh no, we did spend a turn purging, but... yeah, we'll put a fully op back. I could see keeping a Seamless, but I forgot to turn this off. Minstrel, try again. Hey, if you don't mind a question, is there an overall idea of how to play against Hermes? I think it depends a lot on what you're looking to do. Ah, okay, right. Leech counters. Like, obviously, if you're playing a scoring-based corp, the answer is a little bit different from, like, a kill corp. Let's see. Is this server good enough? It's almost good enough. Oh, there's a part of me that's like Biotic Purge install. Actually, is that the right line? I think it is. What do I res this server for? 2 credits, 1 credit, 0 credits. Then I need Seamless. This is really funny to me. Okay. So how do you play against Hermes? Well, ideally, there's 2 options. You can outrush the Hermes, and then 2, you can play a little bit slower. Ice up your centrals and try and make it so that the runner, when you try and go for a score, make sure that you can afford to make a single access on your centrals expensive, so the runner doesn't get in for free. If they can top deck an agenda off of R&D, bounce the agenda you're trying to score back to your hand, you're in a pretty sad spot. I personally, like, people keep saying, like, oh, it's really good into fast advance. It's only good into fast advance if you have agendas building up in your hand and they're not running, in which case you can, like, I think that's usually okay for something like Sports Metal. It's can be a little tricky for op. There's a couple lines that hurt here. I don't think this is one of them. So we res... Oh, I forgot to pay. I might be a credit short here. Oh, but I don't have to worry about paper clips, so I'm all good. Oh, that's beautiful. 4 credits, and then this costs 1. So that's fantastic for me. It doesn't win me the game because we can't all be so lucky. And I have to res the former carrier before it moves, so that would cost me 2, but... so we could res the Ablative Barrier here and put a Rashida in server 2. But I think we want to wait to do that till the last click. If my opponent slammed a Hermes, I maybe do think about resing it. Like, we are letting them get accesses, so maybe this was wrong. But scoring... I guess we can score from 1 credit, but it's... I'm skeptical that it's good. Yeah, opponent's calling out the line that would win us the game here. Nope, the Bionic is just me playing extremely aggressively. That's funny. Okay. So the question is... Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of has to be the Gatekeeper here. Yeah, nothing else works. Yeah, maybe 3x Biotic is correct. I don't know. We'll draw 3 cards. Done. Biotic and Wage Workers is very good. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if we can stick a Wage Workers, we're pretty happy here. Amakua, Labor Rights, Daily Cast, Moshing. Alright, so if I can draw a Seamless, I would love that. I cannot. But I have the Biotic Labor next turn. So it's just going to be Seamless Launch. Advance, score. You live another day. And then we're going to, I think, move Vovo. We want to actually get Trashables out of our hand here, I think. I might keep the... no, we don't need the... Do we need the... Do we... I think I want to keep the wage workers for this situation where things get hairy. Where this gets stolen out of our hand, basically. Because it looks like that's the direction we're heading, is we're going to lose this out of hand. Now, there's actually an argument that I should have actually moved Vovo into server 2 so that my fully op would fire if I come out behind on this play. So, yeah, they opt not to trash, which I think makes some sense. Oh yeah, I forgot that Biotic Labor plus a Wage Workers lets us fast advance a 4-2. So we can play very, very aggressively for outs against, like, Krim Hosh. Yeah, it's funny, actually, if they kind of... So if they... Actually, okay, so if they go for... If they get the Vitruvius here, I'm sad. They got the fully operational. Okay, so now I get to fire Rashida here if they run R&D, which I feel like is what this Wake plan is building up for. Oh, it's not. That's a bummer for me. Okay, wow. So what are our odds there? Someone would have to tell me, but... let's advance. Score. GG. Yeah, Vovo is very cool in this deck because you actually want to use basically all of the text, which I really like. Okay, so like Seamless Launch was also pretty good that game. That's the tricky part, right? I actually wonder if maybe we just stick with this. How good is RLC here? I don't think we're playing 3 misses with a... it was 3 misses with a 1 in 5 to hit, so a 20%, because we had 5 cards in hand. Like, there's definitely some... RLC definitely opens up lines, but we're not strictly a combo deck, and so it'd be RLC, so it'd be fully opt to draw a bunch of cards, then we RLC and then Biotic to gain a Wage Workers click. So we would now have spent, we'd be back to 3 clicks and we wouldn't have an agenda installed. I could see doing 1 Seamless, 3 Biotics. I don't think Seamless helps us keep that many cards. Like, we had a hand, right? That was a bunch of cards we wanted, including a Seamless, a Biotic. No, you know what? We're going to stick at 2 and 2. I think let's stick at 2 and 2 for a bit. But I do need to make the other changes, which is drop the Forma Carry, and it was 14 ice. It was drop a Maryland campaign for Tomb of Viruses. Yeah. All right, 100% win rate against a no-name or someone at least I haven't seen before. Let's see. But this was fun. We did not draw your digital life, which is a bummer. But that's okay. I mean, the thing to me is that fully operational is getting me more credits than your digital life would be. Like, it feels like a wasted click, where it's like, oh, I'm going to fully up, and then I'm going to unload one card from hand. I guess, so that would be the case for RLC, right? Oh, goodness. Now we're going to get run over by D, and now we'll maybe go to see how I can try and handle Mercury. This is a tough starting hand, but it's got 2 fully ops, so we'll see. GLHFD. D is definitely on Maw. No, D, I mean, they might be, but I could also see this being a Hermes build. I think, like, they could trash the wage workers. They probably wouldn't. I don't mind showing a border. Actually, this was wrong. The reason I think this is wrong is I don't really want wage workers behind a border control. I actually want wage workers behind a drafter here. And this is 56, 7, 59 card Hosh. Losing a virus early, it's not ideal, but yeah, range drops is the reason I think it was actually a mistake, because I traded a lot of tempo for that. So we're gonna draw. We're gonna install in a new remote, and then we're going to. So I need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need 5. I need to end on 9, so I actually just need all of these, and I'll be a credit short. Okay, we're gonna price a daily cast, a Paladin, a Liberated. I mean, this seems like a good price hit. I think all of these cards you're happy to hit with price. Like, genuinely, installing Paladin for a click and a credit, that's exactly what you're using him for. Okay, this is the situation where it becomes very good for us, right? Is we get to go... Like, I actually think using wage workers here is maybe better than the Seamless. Because this leaves the Seamless for the future, gives them a threat. Oh, that's the card I wanted to keep, though, D. I swear, when I play against good players with Ma, I get run over. Okay, draw, draw, draw. It's probably because Ma is actually a pretty good card. I would love to do an install in this remote. I think I can afford an install in server 2. The reason I think that is mostly because even if D Maws the Vitruvius here, which is probably their best case, I want to have some credit income so that I can start moving forward aggressively now that I've lost one of my best cards in the entire game for me. Who was so anti-Ma in stack? That was Abram. Abram was a big Maza bad card believer. Do I still res the Gatekeeper here? So it would cost them 4 to break the Gatekeeper, and it's never going to cost them less than 4. This is actually alright. They're probably going to let me actually keep the Maryland, but we'll see. Having Turbine Buzzsaw on hand is really something. Do I res this Maryland, though? Probably not. I think if D wants to spend 3, it's not worth me going in the tank 2. The Bravado Tempo is very good here. I'd love to draw a non-code gate. Rashida would have been... I say Rashida would have been good, but... you could do a deck with RLC, Subliminal, and Grease. Yeah, I think if I'm going to do that, I'm probably going to do it out of sports. Yeah, this is where it's really awkward. This is behind a border control. We gotta restore wage workers into an Oppo research play and let the free click float to send the ultimate message. Yeah. It's a good shout. It's a good shout. I wonder if D is gonna be like, oh, this is a... I think D is a good enough player to make me say, you gotta have it. On 6 credits, generally the play is make them have it. Because it's hard for me to get enough tempo. I guess the Hagen threat is maybe enough, but it was enough to stop them running the Gatekeeper, right? And the Hagen threat's real here. I think it's a somewhat significant setback. But we'll see. Okay, we get the Rashida off. That is fan-frickin-tastic. Okay. This is everything's coming up Jeff here. Okay, so we're going to install this in server 3 with a Vovo. We then install a border control on server 3. We install a Maryland in server 2. And I think I don't think I'm ever resing this Mick with a Buzzsaw turbine down, so we're just gonna overwrite and install a Hagen there. So we've gained a aggressive score on an off-world with the wage workers, and then 2 additional clicks, which we've used for, I think, roughly a credit and an install. Let's see. Okay, Cleaver comes down. Interesting. I actually wonder if because of Ablative, I'm supposed to throw this ice at them. I actually think I like that play. It's not like gonna... I'm not gonna get more value out of it. It's not really in my scoring server. And if they actually go and trash this, I've denied them Maw value, I've cost them credits. Oh, thank you, my cam is in the way. Oh, shoot. I wish. Oh. Counter C6. Okay. So we are going to, I think, go seamless, advance, and score. The question is, do I move Vovo here? And I think the answer is probably yes. Because I don't actually mind spending 3 on this drafter. I suspect D is going to go and trash this Maryland because they are on 14 credits. They've got their entire rig down. I'll still res the Hagen for 2 credits. Because I'm in some pretty dire straits here now. I need to get a fully operational off. What did I just lose? I don't remember exactly. Probably I guess it's going to be one of the face down. So it's one of the mix. Yeah, D is doing exactly what they should do and trashing all of my stuff. So we are in a terrible spot. Okay. So I'm just gonna draw and click for a credit, I guess. Because our deck is basically no tricks. We have to, like, biotic here to get a win. Oh, I missed your comment, Andre, about with Anarch being so consistent at breaking the early servers, you may need 3x Mana Garm. It's definitely a possibility. I think my theory is that possibly Mick and Border Control is enough to make the Anarch play pattern a little bit less good. The D is down to just 3 credits. You know, admittedly, it cost them 2 to basically break everything here. Okay, so... Oh, frickin' Maw, though. So I could... No. Credit, your digital life is bad. So I think it's server 3 done. Credit. How'd they get set up so quickly? Anarch is good, right? They've played 2 Bahia bans. They've had Hoshiko dripping every single turn. They've also played a price, right? So they've seen from the price 4 cards from their ID. They've seen 7 cards, so that's 11. And then Bahia bans is another 4. So they've seen, without having to click to draw, they've seen 15 cards out of their deck, which is not bad. Draw. Your digital life. And what's my line actually here? Is it something with Seamless and Wage Workers? D is on 0, you're right. So it's Ikoa, Mana Garm. Oh, it was... You're right, it was Pull the Fully Op. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was so silly of me. Yeah, Fully Op for the jam strat. Was 100% the line? Oh, that's such an unfortunate miss. Okay. Okay. So, I think I have a weird, different line. I think it's jam Ikoa with the Mana Garm, get back Vovo so I can actually res all the ice here for cheap. Because, frustratingly, 3 credits and 2 clicks is enough to get in here. So the line I'm thinking is install Wage Workers, install Ikoa, I don't think I need the Seamless if I install the Wage Workers and advance the Ikoa once. And I don't need the credits. Now, that line loses to click one, run, break both. No, it doesn't lose to that. Because we're losing credit here. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this line works. So we're going to go server 2. Oh, that's the wrong server. The one thing I should probably calculate. This is the thing that would make me a good player. Is I would calculate this credit cost first. Okay, so this is going to cost me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it does actually cost me more than I can afford. Oops, that's a weird time to res that. You saw nothing. Then we advance. Oh, right. Because Ikoa also costs 2 credits to steal. So we don't need to res both ice. We can actually just res the Gatekeeper and get there. Oh, okay. So that leaves me on 3 credits, which is technically 1 short of scoring, amusingly. And I also wasn't counting for the fact that Gatekeeper actually would cost D4 to break, so this was like a ton of anxiety over, I think, effectively nothing. Okay, so the cheapest thing I can do here, yeah, is res this. Because D will not get the credits till after the run. Oh, Alex, you're right. That is the cheaper way to do this. That's such a cool freaking line. Which is, you pull back Vovo first, install the Wage Workers Vovo, res Vovo, so you basically save a credit on the Wage Workers. That's so cool. So I would actually, then I would have enough, even if D had like a burst from hand kind of line. Like if D had something like a click one moshing into a like what's the strike fund or whatever, like they could potentially get enough credits to challenge the remote. Yeah, so there was probably a line where D could have enough credits to make me need every single last credit, but yeah. All right, well, we got a very lucky one off of D here. Yeah. All right, so the Seamless pulled its weight here. Definitely better than the Biotic. Uh, yeah. I mean, this is one of the things that you do kind of have to adjust to, is that, like, money is a touch more less accessible when you have to pre-install the breakers. For resource econs was good, bad. To draw them and didn't. Wage Worker Seamless was a cool fork, for sure. Yeah, I think this is one of the things, like, it's going to take getting used to with the price, is that, like, you are going to have to recount your deck, basically, in your head. But, yeah, that was actually a pretty neat game. All right. Well, I mean, this is going fairly well. Surprisingly well. So, was there any changes we talked about? I mean, it seemed like the biggest changes there were, like, gameplay changes of, like, oh, you spend the Vitruvius count on a fully op, blitz up your digital life. There's no way to get a Wage Worker's res there. You try a third Manic Arm. I don't want to go below 14 ice. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Jamie. I don't really want to cut either the Biotic or the Seamless yet. Vovo has seemed worth his weight in gold. Maryland feels very essential. Rashida, Spin, Wage Workers is good. I'm hesitant to go to a third one until we start seeing that we have a persistent problem with Bankar. Now, if someone wants to load up Bankar 45 Anarch, I'm happy to give that matchup a shot. So the reason I'm favoring Maryland is twofold. One is people misplay around Maryland way more than they misplay around Nico campaign. People leave Maryland's firing that they shouldn't, but they never leave Nico's firing that they shouldn't. Nico has, like, is some, like, people just figure out, like, oh, I can't let Nico fire a second time, and they will spend resources to make it happen, and it's usually worth it. Some people will R&D break, but you have to consent to the Maryland R&D lock break, right? It's probably an okay hand where we just triple ice, or we triple install but don't res the Wage Workers. Yeah, no worries, Augustus. Apologies for not, like, trying to hold the room for you. I guess I could go install, res, install, click for a credit. It just tells them where the Wage Workers is. I think I'd rather not tell them where the Wage Workers is and try and get more value later. That is what we like to see. The thing I always hate is when it's like, oh, it's a dirty. They have like dirty laundry in hand and roll R&D and top deck 2 points, and it's just like, ugh. Do I res drafter here? No reason to. Okay. So, Nuka means that they can't be on 3 deep dives. Which is good. I don't like 3 deep dives. They're probably not running these. They're probably running R&D at some point here. Hermes, okay. Draw, okay. This is certainly a draw. This is again not ideal ice positioning, but we'll just let this one tick. I'm sort of hoping my opponent goes in real hard here on trashing this stuff. Now they know this is a wage workers, so what that probably means is that one of these wage workers lives for the whole game. Because I guess they could go and trash both of them this turn, which wouldn't be the best for me, but it would be it'd be survivable. We've basically turned off archives already by just having a virus there, which is great. So we're just going to keep drawing here. Keep drawing here. We're going to keep drawing here. Alright. So deck has decided to do this to me. Okay, do I want to do the draw before or after here? I think we're going to do it after. I don't think I'm going to discard 4 extra cards. Ooh, wheels. Okay, so we're definitely playing Deep Dive. And we're spending we're probably just playing a single Deep Dive. Archives is always going to be last, which actually means I might think about putting a border control on Archives. No, it's actually you put a virus on the central and a border control on Archives if you can arrange everything that way. Okay, so we're at 7 credits, so we're short of being able to biotic labor this out. Let's try and get some more ice. Okay, so this ice is largely not useful as tempo scoring. We're gonna put the border control on R&D. I think then we're just gonna ice up. Actually, the Maryland is probably the best one to ice up. Then we're going to draw 2 cards. Okay, great. So we just have 3 wage workers installed. Feels good. Pretty HB. So we can biotic labor, spend 11, gain 7. So we're spending 4 basically to score an off-world office from hand. Seems alright. No sense in rezzing any of this ice right now. At some point, maybe even the following turn, we'll just do an aggressive. We'll just do a purge. Okay, so the danger of the line is that I will be opening up HQ onto Hermes. I think I'm okay with that, because I will be at 10 credits. And then I'll have your digital life fully op plan to go after it. So we're going to install in server 2. We're going to biotic labor, and then we're going to advance, 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 score. Now, oh no, I'm at more credits than I thought I was. Oh, because it's only 8 to score an off-world. Yeah, so I went up in credits. I'm probably going to get double diversion here. But I actually think that's survivable. With your digital life. If I can find an asset, I can just like fully op and boom. Don't think there's any reason to res here. Opponent can is getting to the place where they can start contesting. Okay, so this is either an Ikoa or an expensive asset, which we don't have any of. Oh, they're going for the deep dive this turn? No, they're not. Interesting. Oh, very interesting that they did not trash that. Do I have another, like, biotic purge turn? I don't think I do. Okay, so we're going to install this in server 2. Okay, so now we fully op. We're going to draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards. Gain 2 credits. Biotic labor. Your digital life. Okay, and then we're going to do I put the Rashida down this turn, or do I not? I think I want Ablative on HQ. And ideally what I actually want to do with the Ablative is... oh my goodness, and then I got 3 installs. Oh my goodness, I can't freaking count. So I have 2 agendas in archive, so I don't really want to super overdraw here. So the reason I think they maybe don't check that for free is this looks like a spin doctor. And if they check it for free, they do this. I actually don't want them checking this remote and taking out this Manic Arm. I actively don't want them going there. I want to do something like Purge and then make that kind of play. And like, hey, if they check the Rashida for free, whatever. So I think this is technically a misplay if I install the Spin Doctor there. I don't particularly mind. If they check the spin, they have to clear a tag. Oh, you're right. It is only unsuccessful. Never mind. Read the cards. No reses here. I guess I res the Manic Arm for 2. Yeah. Man, why is it... yeah, I guess that's consistent with what John Masanori did. But... What? What? I mean, don't mind if I do. So it's... Sorry, I need to think here. Okay. So if I res this ablative barrier... Oh. Okay, so I could res ablative barrier, install Movirus, and purge. And then they don't get to land the doof, but I basically doofed myself. Oh, there's no threat. Never mind. So no, we don't res this. Thank you. Threat is hard. Threat is hard. Okay, there's no way I'm going to have a purge and 3 actions here. I don't mind giving up 2 points here, honestly. Question is if I can actually afford to do the purge this turn. So the answer is probably no. Yeah, this is why this play was a little suspect. Actually, we just need to draw our other Movirus. Okay. Well, that's not going to happen. Let's see. Then we're going to ice up archives. What's the one I want to discard here? We're going to just get looted out of HQ this turn. So it's just which way do I want to give up 2 points? Or 4 points even. If they steal the Ikoa, I'm actually probably don't mind. Because it lets me then do ablative shenanigans. Okay, all 3 fully ops are gone. Hey, Brubba, what's going on with these with this spam? I think I'm still okay to purge here. Guess it's probably not ideal. It's, but don't think I have a ton of choices. Actually, no, that's just wrong. Oh, I actually think I know what the play was supposed to be, but that's fine. I think it was supposed to be Rashida Ablative on this server, which honestly is maybe still the play. Okay. Um, yeah, this has been a really exciting and kind of big shakeup to the meta, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Basically, my hope is they actually take the bait here, because now that the Blade of Barrier is active, I can fetch Mavirus and purge the board state in one go. It does cost 5 credits, which means they then get to go and wreck me on Centrals for a turn, and probably cost me the game. Okay, so thinking here. Don't have a lot of choice. Yep, that's unfortunate. They just ripped this ice and now I'm in a bad spot. Maybe I was supposed to do Bladed Barrier on HQ. I don't know. Oh wow, they're not going for that. It's very interesting. We're also completely dead on the board here, I think. If I can draw the second Mavirus, which 4 cards, 1 in 4 out of 14 seems possible, but apparently not. Or the second Spin Doctor, which I also didn't draw. A Biotic Labor for Illuminal would be fantastic here. Let's see. I think I just want to keep putting threats in server 2. And then we're going to last click draw like a good player. Ooh, yeah, that's a fantastic draw. Alright, so today we learned how to not play against Mercury. Or Hermes, excuse me. And Intoxicated, what's your favorite non-ID card from the new set? I mean, it's probably Wage Workers. Wage Workers is peak silliness. Alright, we're going to shuffle back the ones that are free in case our opponent beefs it. Yeah, okay. Boomerang on R&D, interesting. Do I res this border control? I'm like all in on this ablative line here. They also just win off of seeing 4 cards out of R&D here, I think guaranteed, because there's 2 off-worlds and a Vitruvius, so they'd have to basically all be in the bottom of the deck. But yeah, opponent just ran me down this game, and I think it was definitely a low ice start, which did not help. But it was a good game nonetheless. Alright, so Augustus, I'm going to put a lobby up. If you want to come in with a Bankar, just to see if I need more Managarms. That game did not convince me that I wanted Managarm over any of the ice or any of the operations, to be honest. Not to say that it's still not potentially correct. But yeah, okay, so Wage Workers I'm really excited about, but Wage Workers is a bit of a cheat because I'm a huge Jeeves lover. So the other thing probably that's like a completely new card that I'm really excited about is Tucana. So maybe we'll wrap up the stream with a Tucana HB of some style. Okay, so it's 45. This is a rough hand. Okay, this is now a good hand, I think. So we want the cheaper thing, probably protecting the wage workers. Maybe we don't. What a card, though. What a card. You get to use it the turn it's installed. It's just OP. I don't think Wage Workers is actually OP, but it is definitely a solid card. So... Was manual purge and install over wage workers a possible line? So so the manual purge was something I was trying to line up. It kept lining up so they stole right before then. So I would lose the actually, I wonder if I baited Augustus there into trashing that Maryland. I don't know that Maryland trash is actually correct. The reason I wasn't a huge fan of Manual Purge a bunch of times was because it was HQ was open. I don't think I mind them going charge, charge, charge on a turtle on wage workers. I think what I minded was them getting HQ accesses while they did that. Because we ended up quite flooded in the mid game. Okay, so they don't have the bank card down this turn, so what we do is we click for 4 credits, and then we just get the border control down. And we should be credit perfect as long as the border control sub fires. And we still have the seamless, so we're fine to let them wheels here. And there's not much point to resing the Hagen. So this can just be a clickless credit for them. They could also choose to trash the wage workers. It doesn't end up making a huge difference. Have I tried Cybersand and Asa yet? No. I think that would take the place of your digital life, right? Which honestly I think would be something I would not mind in this particular deck. Like, that seems like it would be a big upgrade, because we are resing quite a bit. And it's always going to basically pay for itself. You just have to have 2 extra credits up front. This is going to be a rough maw hit. Okay, so which of these ice is the best here? So it's going to be server 1, res, install, click for a credit. I guess this is down to 2 credits, which is a great place for us to be. If they run this remote, we hog in them. If we run this remote, we gatekeeper them, get to shuffle back the Ikawa. If they run the magnet, we just magnet them. If they run HQ, I think we just let them have it. Because 2 strength does nothing for us here, or for them there. But yeah, actually, I think, interestingly, if you do the 2, if you change these into Cyber Sands, you can maybe cut a Marilyn or a Vovo to get the 3rd Managarm in there. Which just do I actually res here? I think the answer is maybe no. If you Cyber Sand, you probably want Tatu Bola. I'm not sure that that's the double down I want to take. Tatu Bola obviously is good in Asa, but I'm not sure that those are necessarily... To me, I still, like, you need a way to win, right? Okay, so we can, like, draw 3 times. I mean, let's go. This is, like, freaking God draw, I think. Okay, so I want to get Vovo, Mavirus. I really want to get 3 things down here. So there's a world where I biotic labor, but I think that is the world where Jeff quickly runs out of credits. So the most important thing is getting Rashida, Gatekeeper, and Mavirus down. And we want those basically all in the same server for now. So we're going to install Rashida, install Vovo, install Mavirus in server 2, and be a little bit sad that we don't get 1 extra thing here. Opponent is in a tough spot. I think Aeneas is a really fun shout for this style of deck. I think, though, Aeneas Wheels is probably a trap in a 45-card Bankar list. I think it's more, like, to me, this is a I'm going to win on the long-term play, not a I'm going to apply pressure at the appropriate times play. Ooh. That's a spicy include. Okay. So, I mean, we just make them use everything here, I think. So we're going to res Vovo. We're going to res and purge. Oh, I shouldn't purge there. I forgot that they don't have all that strength on Amakua, and it makes no difference here. Okay. So we're going to res Vovo, and then we res Gatekeeper. So the question is, I could res the Mavirus for 1 just to do a cheeky net damage. I might, just so that they get less value out of the Aeneas. Yeah, the Makua lists often are on 2 Devil Charm. That's a good shout. Ooh, hit the Vitruvius too. Hey, we hit a Fermenter out of hand too. And I think you have to trash this Mavirus as well, if you want to threaten Centrals at any point. Okay, well, we know that the Augustus isn't stream sniping because the win was in Archives that turn. So do I triple draw? No, I think I just have to fully op draw here. Okay, great. Hopefully we hit your Digital Life. So this is going to be 6 cards in hand. Not great, honestly, right? This was a hedge fund, and we had to, like, work for it. Yeah, let's move you to server 4. Yeah, with 2 Spin Doctors, I can maybe do like the Res Ansel for 4, make them spend 3 clicks. I think that's okay. Yeah, your Digital Life is feeling bad because of Ma. Yeah, it's true. Ma's also cost us like 2 cards. Oh, right. Alright, I probably do have to trash both of the... I have to shuffle back both of these this turn. I mean, yes, I couldn't afford a hedge here, but... the fact that this was our turn that was supposed to... Like, the setup play is supposed to be fully op, draws you a bunch, your digital life, right? I could have, instead of drawing for your digital life, I could have just clicked... I could have just gained those 4 credits off of the fully op. And had a click back or something. Okay, so do I have 3 installs I want to make? Probably yes. I think Mick, border control... Is it double border control because I can purge the Amakua? Yes, that's what it is. It's double border control because I res those for 2 credits. So I do an install of... No, I end up a credit short. Right? Because it's... Install off... Oh, it's click for 3, install the off-world behind a border control. Yeah. As I say that, I go to install immediately. I could also do the Mick, but I think this is better. And then we move Vovo to server 3. Hagen is still good for us here. Actually, I guess it's not. They can Bankar it. I guess we'd be at 1 credit after resing both border controls. We purge with them a virus. Yeah, it actually doesn't quite work. The more I think Trankrid helps so much with wage worker procs. Yeah, probably. Frustratingly, I actually can't res this Hagen. Yeah, Tranquility Home Grid would be... Ooh, that's a hit and a half, though. Yeah, Tranquility Grid would be good. Maybe over the Maryland campaign. Interesting that I went for the off-world. Bankar is still on server 3. Oh, it was on server... Well, okay, so the reason that's still... Okay, so you're right. Bankar was on server 3, so we had the option to blow up the Amakua. We would then be forfeiting the off-world office entirely, I guess, because we couldn't afford to res either of this ice. Now, Runner may not know that, but on 1 credit, it's very difficult for me to keep them out completely. Whereas now, I actually get to... I can keep them out and make the money I need to score this, I think. Nope. Oh no, I'm a credit short still. I need to top deck a Seamless here. Which I'm not going to do. The Virus and Archives, Magnet, Hagen. Yeah, I mean, it's not... They can just run the Gatekeeper. I guess I'm threatening Seamless in hand, but I'm not really threatening Seamless in hand. So maybe what I do... So a single run on the Gatekeeper. So do I double install overwriting the Gatekeeper? I think it's click first. Because you get the counter after the Mavirus. So I want to do 2 installs and a credit. Okay. So, overwriting. Okay, and the question is, where do I actually move the Vovo? I actually don't want the Vovo here, because if they run the Ablative, I want to be able to install the Managarm or the Mavirus in a server that the Vovo is in. So we're going to move Vovo Azeti to the server where I least want them to run, probably, which is like R&D here. Server 5. That's okay. Again, we're just resing this. Actually, so... yeah. Okay, so now I'm okay with doing this. So now we hit the Amakua. And yes, they can go after us now. They can even get the Vovo, which is looking like a solid play here. Oh, okay, them having Cleaver in hand is not great. I mean, just run this... oh, I guess I have no credit, so why would you run that twice? Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I think I just let them have this. Do I let them have this? Because this does give them a window to clear the tag. And I could like trash the Bankar, but I don't think the Bankar is the significant problem for me here. Runner is on 1 credit, so if we can find a Managarm Skunkworks, we're probably pretty happy. Because we can actually force through there. Okay, that's not terrible. Our Centrals are in a good spot. I could res this Ablative to force a Rashida. Actually, just resing Ablative here to install Rashida in server 4 seems great. And yeah, Trankrid would be fantastic here. So this is like a huge slots issue of how the heck do we get there. I think if my opponent wants to spend the rest of their turn going after this Rashida, I don't mind. So what do I get off of the Ansel? I get to install a... yeah, I would get to install a card from Archives, which seems fine. Now, admittedly, I don't have another Rashida, which is what I would really, really want, but... yeah, hitting the... We are scraping by for credits right now. Um, Okay, so if I do something like server 3 and then the mic. And then we gain all of these credits. And then we advance this once. And we move over to server 3. Now, maybe it's actually safest behind the Ancil, technically. But this means they actually... I guess Wheels makes the, like, just total click tax here bad. But I have basically Resimic... So they actually have to trash both of these wage workers this turn, right? And can they afford to do that? Probably, right? Yeah, so okay, so we're cutting 2 Marylands for 2 Tranquility Home Grids and turning the 2 your Digital Lights into 2 Cyber Sand Harvesters. Feels good, and then we just need to not lose on R&D, which I think we can do. So we need 6 credits if we need to res the wage workers in server 5. Okay, so we win the game now. Do we just win off of double border control? I think we do, right? Because it's click. They've already used wheels, right? Yeah. So, I mean, we can res Mick for the flex. Paying 4 to res a 4 strength 3 sub code gate. Don't mind if we do. They've already... Oh, they can wheels gain a click. That is true. Ooh, good question. I did not think about the Hippo and Golo line. Oh, wait. Oh. Yeah, okay, so because they were protecting the Angola, they didn't take the net damage off of ablative, so they used the cleaver already, and Hippo is the first time you break on the outermost. So, we got a touch lucky there. And now we end the run. Oh, actually, we don't need to end the run because they're on 1 credit. Oh, so amusingly, we were okay either way, because money is a thing that matters with Ikawa. Ikawa, turns out, really strong in rush decks. It's probably not better than GFI because it can cost us as well. But... Oh, and actually, I can't not border control them there because... Because Aeneas would give them the 2 credits they need to get through. Yeah. GG. Yeah, it's interesting. Like this is going to be a tough matchup. I wonder how much Aeneas Wheels is a like maybe actually in 45 it's right because you want a long-term econ engine. Okay, so we're going to duplicate, and then we're going to call this Sandy, Asa. I'm going to cut your digital lice. I'm going to cut the Marylands. I'm going to put in 2 Tranquility Home Grids. And we're going to put in 2 Cyber Sand Harvesters. Oops. Seems interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, oh, this wheels. I guess they only were playing 1. I wonder how many times they used wheels. We can look at this, right? Hey guys, chat was fairly quiet to be honest. To gain. Okay, so you gained 9 clicks off of Hannah, though I think this is also counting the click that you undid, right? So you gained, you used wheels 8 times, so it was a card and 2 credits for plus 8 clicks, which is definitely, like, that's good value. I guess it's the like, oh, hey, if you had found this 2 turns later, suddenly it's a card, 2 credits, and 6 clicks. So you're 3 clicks up. It's like a 3 credit card, and it's only good if you've also found your Aeneas's and can make other use out of it. Now, you have good, like, I think if Wheels has a home, it probably is in Hoshiko, because you have an inherent desire to flip your ID, but maybe not always a good other use for the rest of the run. Aeneas, like, I was coming around to the Aeneas Wheels, Hoshiko, DreamNet. Like, I think that's probably a pretty good, solid package. And I just don't like Wheels as a card, so I'm, like, biased against it. But we wanted to do... Okay, let's do something a little bit silly. We're going to do tagging sports medal, so that we can use Greasing the Palm and Wage Workers. So we're going to play 2 Oppo Researches, 3 Jagarundis, and Wage Workers, Biotic Labors. We're going to play a Subliminal Messaging. We're going to play an Audacity. Oh, you know what? My light's so blue because my computer monitor is on me. That's why. Okay. Okay. What other assets do we want? Probably Maryland campaigns. Tranquility Home Grids actually seem pretty good. We want Greasing the Palm. Oops. I know how to spell Greasing the Palm. Don't worry about it. And we want red level clearances. Okay. What other... So we have 7 influence. We need to spend 3 of that on Spin Doctors. Okay, so we have 4 influence left. I want to troll people here. Oh, it's 3 inf. Oh. Okay. What's the NBN ice that was just released? Because I think that's probably a good one. 2 virtual servants agents, 3 Jagarundis, and 2 Oppo research seems like a good suite for landing tags, or about as good as we're gonna get. Rashida seems good. We want Illuminal. Probably want Vitruvius's. We probably want Ontologicals. We want... What's the frickin'... We want Hyperloops. And we want... what's Megaprees? Am I forgetting any obvious good HB agendas here? We probably also actually do want Bass Chernbogas. Maybe we want the 3rd Tranquility Home Grid. We could do a Meridian, or we could do 2 Ablative Barriers and cut a Tranquility Home Grid. How do we core? Jagarundi. Jagarundi or bust. I think genuinely we will hit Jagarundis a lot. We could also put like 2 Nightmare Archives in, and that's probably enough. So we would need some other cuts though. Yeah, HHN is gone, so an Oppo Research Sports I think is way worse. Maybe I'm wrong, but I suspect it's way, way worse. Okay, so we cut the Nightmare and we cut down a Onto. Well, it's like Onto is probably the best thing we can do. We could Stegodon, but I don't think that does anything. Like, the thing is, we can fast advance on Onto as a 4-2 with the right hand here, right? Because we can, like, Biotic, Red Level, Subliminal, or Greasing the Palm, Biotic, Subliminal, or Red Level are ways that we can fast advance a 4-2, and we don't even need Wage Workers on the board because we can Red Level a Wage Workers. What is Oppo doing? It's turning on our Greasing the Palms, right? Like, we're just doing lots of cheap tagging. Maybe you just play... and then, like, Jagarundi, Virtual Service Agent, and Ablative Barrier. Yeah, I think this is actually... You know what? This is just... This is a little bit silly, but... Hey, Diogened. Hope you're enjoying the new set. It's very different from the last one, but and I think that's a thing that a lot of people are enjoying. I certainly am, though I definitely liked elements of the last one. But yeah, Diogened, we actually played that earlier in the stream. This was what we played at the start of the stream. We played against an invader who I thought was playing pretty well. It's not too exciting. I don't like the pivot. I think this could be something else. Toot Vovo is, though, a really nice card for PD. I was kind of curious if you could do like a Tucana PD. Just to get even more tempo. It becomes a little bit weird on the influence, like you end up cutting the Void and the Pivot for 2 Tucanas, and you might have a hard time muscling Anarchs out, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay, we got Sick joining us. Okay, this is possibly the worst possible matchup for us. I mean, this is actually almost a keepable hand anyway, though. Hey, Eurus McProl. Let's see. We're gonna sequence the heck out of this game. We need to see how quickly this freedom sets up and if we're on Hermes freedom or a Knobkerry freedom. The list I played at the GNK that was run yesterday, that was meant to be kind of a janky GNK. Hey, oh, that's cool. Glad you're stopping by, Eurist. I am getting towards the end of this stream, but we've got if you're around tomorrow night at about this time or about 30 minutes before this, the biggest streamer, and I would argue the best streamer in the community, will be doing his nightly stream, and he does a really good beginner focused stream, or like beginner friendly stream. This stream's going to be a little bit dense, because I try and play a little bit more hardcore stuff, but I'll try and, it's always good to be reminded that there's people that are new. So, oh yeah, that's Andre Amverick. He'll be streaming on a channel called the Metropol Grid, and you should definitely check him out. He does the best work in all of Netrunner, I think. So I'm doing, so I should say, like, I don't know what your familiarity is with Standard. I am playing an ID that was made by the company that used to make Netrunner. This is called Sports Medal. It says whenever an agenda is scored or stolen, I get to gain 2 credits or draw 2 cards. So my deck is full of lots of small agendas that I can get kind of what we call tempo, like advance my board state out of by scoring. My opponent is playing a really interesting ID that says once per turn, they can remove virus counters from their cards to trash cards, even if they couldn't normally be trashed. So that's what this red level is doing in my bin. They ran R&D and trashed it. Trashed this red level by spending a virus counter on their cards. So this runner gets to play with a whole different economy, where they do use clicks and credits just like everyone else, but they can also spend their virus counters to do things. Buzzsaw, Sure Gamble, Audrey, and Labor Rights. And they're using this new card, which I really enjoy, which is meant to break all the ice, but we're playing a pretty ice-light strategy. Okay. So what's my play here? Oh goodness, this is such a silly play. Okay. So we're going to Greasing the Palm, a new remote, and res the wage workers. We're going to Greasing the... Oh, this is a Luminal. I didn't even need to do all of this nonsense. Oh, this was silly of me now. We're going to gain 2. Then we're going to Biotic Labor. Then we're going to advance, 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 and score. And then we're going to draw 2 cards. Then I'm going to draw a card, install the Hyperloop extension on server 2, install a Maryland in a new remote. It never stops. Okay, so I've done 2 installs. I could actually install this Vitruvius and be a greedy little boy. We'll do that. And then we will play Oppo Research to give the runner 2 tags because they trashed the red level clearance off the top of my deck last turn. Yeah, so we did roughly 1 trillion things on that turn in a way that's pretty uncommon in Netrunner and pretty unfair. my opponent now has 2 tags. Now, they probably don't actually have to deal with these tags. I think they can just start running my board and taking me apart. And they might be respecting kill, because, like, why would I play Oppo Research if I don't? Oh, this is a really good card to find when I'm playing some kind of tag-based build. This says the first time you turn, you trash a corp card, you get to place a power counter on this piece of hardware. When your turn begins, you may remove a hosted power counter to draw a card or remove a tag. So there's reasons they're including it in this deck, but it's going to be very nice here because they're going to be trashing a lot of cards. So they're running this, they're going to spend 2 virus counters, trash my card, and I'll be a wee bit sad. Okay, so we're going to res this Maryland campaign. It slid over. Apologies, this is a UI thing I use to keep my screen a little bit clearer, but does make it a little bit less approachable. And then we're just going to score this Vitruvius off the table. And probably want the 2 cards here more than I want the 2 credits. Opponent can clear a tag or draw a card. The drawing a card is pretty reasonable because their icebreaker that they're going to use for this game consumes cards from their hand. But they also did a pretty reasonable play of just saying, hey, my opponent's doing something weird, let's get rid of the tags, and that's also pretty good value. It's probably the better value play. Unfortunately for my opponent, I have a absolutely ludicrous turn 6 win in hand right now, which is criminally unfair. Okay, so they stole one of the Ontos. And we just score this Hyperloop extension. We'll just gain another 2, and then we will discard the Wage Workers. And so next turn I'm threatening to go Biotic Labor, and then score. We will draw 2 cards here. Now they actually can amusingly just win by running R&D 4 times here. And like have decent odds because they get to trash cards. So their whole engine is based around trashing my stuff. My whole engine is based around them stealing and scoring my stuff. Okay, they didn't score or steal, so we're going to finish up. Okay, my wife just texted me that she's cracking up because all she heard out of context was me saying, I'm going to be a greedy little boy, and she found that quite funny. So I don't know if you guys picked up the laughing on the mic, but it was very funny to me. It does not matter too much what we do here. Is this not implemented? Or did they lose a click there? Oh no, they probably just took a tag. Yeah. Okay. And they access the Wage Workers. And wow, this is terrible for my opponent. I'm sorry for them. So we're going to play our Biotic Labor. We're going to install, gain 2, and advance, score. Yeah, 1 and 7 this game gets really awkward. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like if I'm like 2 turns slower, I'm just completely out of this game because they can actually trash quite a bit. Yeah, that's true. They could do the Biotic as well. Though they'd already used Audrey that turn, so I think we were safe. So in this particular case, it was just a 1 and 7, but in general, it should probably be a 2 and 7. All right. Let's see. Okay, so we'll do one more game. I guess we'll do one more sports game. And yeah, I need to practice. I'm teaching a friend from high school who I still keep in touch with the Netrunner tomorrow. So we'll be interested to see how that. I need to It's good that someone stopped by who's newer, so I can get back in that practice of talking about it. This friend has been very kind and patient to me and let me complain about various dramas and stressors in Netrunner, despite them not knowing any of the rules formally. So, but yeah. I feel like this is keepable with install these 3 cards, but I think we can do a little bit better. That's actually pretty good. Okay, so I think this is whenever you get enough people in drama. So much drama. Also, want to join? Jeff recruitment message. Yeah, for sure. No, I'm not recruiting my friend to Null Signal. I'm just teaching them Netrunner. And the nice thing is we get to talk about what's exciting and what's fun about it. Oh, maybe I'm not supposed to install this ice here. Red Team Arasana, I'm actually, no joke, I've been thinking a lot about Red Team Arasana. I think it's, quite possibly legit. Because you don't get punished by hard-hitting news anymore, it seems plausible, and when you install Red Team for 3 credits, and you want to be making runs anyway to trigger your ID, it feels really interesting, because, Arasana wants to be making a run a turn. And you don't need that much extra value to make Red Team quite good. I think says Gachapon was the conclusion. I'm not super high on Gachapon in the list, but I should look at Seb's deck list. I would just probably rather play a Q-Loop. I think Q-Loop is just very good. I should probably be using this Red Team to draw 2 cards. Gain a click. Install and install. Okay. Finding a wage workers would be very, very, very nice here. Because I think we can score the ontological dependence if we get the wage workers. I don't think we need the credits. Okay, so actually what I might do is shuffle these. Res this one. Okay, we did not get it. So what we'll probably do is we're just going to Greasing the Palm. Server 2. We're going to gain 2. Then we'll Biotic. And then we will triple advance. Yeah, but basically to me, I think Q-Loop is the way I want to go. Maybe Gachapon is right. Gachapon is how much influence again? It's 2 influence, so it's 1 inf cheaper. And you see 6, you can remove 2. You've got lots of duplicates in your deck, so it's not like actually that bad for you. Oh, shoot, I screwed that one up. New remote. Yeah, weeding out the duplicate pads and vernissages is good. I think it's the... where you want to spend your influence is really tricky to figure out in that deck because it's an open slate and then you have to figure out how you adjust your matchups. Price is an option. You have a lot of cards where you care about the ordering, so it's a little bit tricky. But it's not like impossible to imagine that being a good include. Okay, so I can top deck any agenda and score here, I think. Maybe not now, but probably still now. Okay. Thinking. I'm probably going to hold the Oppo research for a bit. And I think we'll probably just protect the wage workers here. Virtual Service Agent, actually pretty good against Arasana. If they're playing Umbrella, it's maybe less good, but that's still 2 credits they have to spend each time. I guess they make them back with a Cubone, but I don't mind that too much. Kua makes a lot of sense. This seems like it should basically be in every deck unless everyone goes to triple Mavirus. Or at least double Mavirus. Okay, so we've gotten 2 Basses down. Okay, we get Rashida off. This is looking promising for us. It's not really a card I want to fast advance though. Okay, so we could do Hyperloop. I guess it's okay to fast advance. We're going to gain 2, and then we're going to overwrite this ice with a Jaguarundi. And what do we discard here? I think we're all right there. Maybe that was wrong. Okay, so we probably want to have 7 credits and a little bit extra at some point. So if they trash anything this turn, we probably just click for 7 and click for 4, click for 3, and price, which then opens up some fun greasing the palm lines, and we'll have RLC as well. I also think Earthrise so one of the reasons I'm maybe not as high on Gachapon is I think Earthrise probably does the same thing for no influence. I guess it's not the same thing because it's not an off-turn install. Off-turn install is a big deal. It feels weird to me to spend 2 influence on a one-time shot, but it could be right. I should probably go look at what was it? Was it Seb's list? Seb's Gachapon list. Yeah. No Gambo. 3 Fermenters. 3 Gachapon, a Hush, and 2 Corroders. Yeah, this list seems so. Yeah, Yura. So, thanks for giving me some info. It's great. So you used to play Magic for over 10 years. Never seems more interesting by not having a land-based system. So there's much fewer non-games due to bad luck. Yeah, I will say non-games still happen because it's a card game, and to some extent, to me, I'm like, that is actually just part of games. I mean, okay, so we didn't. We got no whammies here. Ice Archives. Put sheet in a new remote. I guess install Spin Doctor new remote and click for a credit. Yeah, you get agenda flooded, but it does happen less, and the game tries to actively mitigate it. Now, obviously, Magic tries to actively mitigate lands. I think to me, one of the big things that's really interesting is like your turn resource is completely different. Because you have the fixed number of actions, like you're just building a big board doesn't do anything on its own. You have to be like, your board has to be doing stuff actively for you. And our opponent is doing a good job of building a board that does a lot of things actively for them. I actually think I'm okay with losing this Spin Doctor as well. Yeah, I guess it is interesting. Like, I've been playing some Magic the Gathering and some Pokemon TCG. I actually started picking up Pokemon TCG, like, a month before the set released. Like, it's an interesting time. Okay, Jagarundi can get broken here. My opponent is almost playing around the Jagarundi, which is impressive. I have not tried Lorcana at all. Maybe I will someday. But wait, why is this not... Is this threat 4? Oh, it's threat 4, not threat 3. Oh. Well, that makes the card very different. I should not have rezzed that. That's hilarious. That's just a tempo loss. Do I score this off the table? Draw. Draw. Okay. Draw. Install a new remote, and we'll ditch this Tranquility Home Grid. So, like, I'm admittedly playing a type of Netrunner that's, like, very far from normal Netrunner on stream right now. My opponent is playing, like, a brand new deck that's pretty cool that we're trying to figure out if it's any good. Where they have this little engine set up that's kind of run-based, so they get to spend a click. Let's see. I think we actually want the cards more here. Okay, now we can score the Mega Pre and be pretty happy about it. Because that will get us to winning the game. I binged quite a few of Andre's videos these past few days. That seems to be the new standard rotation was a bad moment for me to join, as some of his latest deck lists are now not legal, and I'm not knowledgeable enough to know the substitute in yet. Oh, okay. That is a great so yeah, as people are saying, no one knows what's going on with the meta right now, which I think is actually a fun time to join. And also, if you don't know about Netrunner DB, I would go to Netrunner DB. This is just netrunnerdb.com. The other place you could go is Always Be Running, and if this just alwaysberunning.net. I should finish my game and then finish this spiel. Sorry. And you can get some of the best deck lists in the format, if that's a thing that appeals to you. Oh, what a sick top deck, though. Yummy. Okay. That's definitely a thing that people want to hear from their streamers, them going yummy about drawing a card. Okay. So now I'm going to res this Wage Workers. My wife is just going to be full of good quotes for me here. Oh, yeah. I forgot that we have to beat Clot here, and included exactly 0 Maviruses. So we will see what we can do about that. I know I also need to put out a video about making the jump into Standard from Startup. Yeah, so I think that would be a good reason to check out, because you're right. It's hard to just go off of a tournament list, because like you have to actually see how it's played. The nice thing is, if you go to this Asia Pacific Continental, this most recent event, if you go, so you go to Always Be Running. I'll just actually post this right in the chat. If you go to something like, I actually might just start with this guy, this Nintendo. This is, to me, if I was like to hand a new player a deck, like this is a wild deck. It does some really weird game-breaking things. Doing a bad job of talking to stream and playing. And like people are talking a little bit about some of the lines in here, maybe not the best. They also include replays, which is a thing I'm so glad people are doing. And you can load up those replays yourself and look at them in the browser. You can hover over the cards at your own pace. So I'm super glad people are doing that. I think it's a great way to learn, and you can kind of see what people are doing and start playing around. Some people will advise you to get into Startup. I would say skip Startup entirely if you've been playing Magic the Gathering. I think it's just not... It's fine. People enjoy it. It's just not what I would actually recommend to people right now as what's the most fun way to play Netrunner. So... I think Standard's great, and Andre is going to put out a video very soon. I will probably put a video out sometime in the next 2 weeks about jumping into Standard. Joining the GLC Discord is another great one that Thanos is calling out. I think that's just discord.gg/GLC. I think we got this vanity link. Yeah, we did. Okay, cool. You can go there and ooh, Pisha Cow is really interesting here. This is really, really interesting. So we're going to draw 2 cards here. Okay, so I actually want to Resoblade Barrier on this upcoming thing. People not being able to pronounce Pisha Cow. It's not. Yeah, it's not Pisha Cow. It's Pisha Shaw, right? I think is approximately correct. It's Pisha Shaw. I just default to Pisha Cow, but that's 100% not how it is. Yeah, having a virus in here would be pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, Mavirus is the only way we possibly beat this deck. So, because I should say why I care about... Okay, so there's I should pull up my cards, because I actually set up this overlay properly. Okay. I got my script running ahead of time. So, there's a card called Mavirus. What this says is, basically, ignore all of this text up here, up on the top of the card, and just look at the trash can. I realized I was pointing with my mouse in a way that's not getting captured. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, scoring 2 1-pointers was bad here. Oops, no. Yeah, we're just going to do this the silly way. Advance. Audacity. Score. And then gain 2 credits. Okay, so we've got Mavirus. Why would I say I need Mavirus in this deck? It's because of this other card called Clot. So what you just saw I did on this last turn here was I installed this Mega Pre from hand. I advanced it 1 time, and then I played an operation that let me put 2 more advancement counters on it. That allowed me to score this Mega Pre the same turn I installed it. But Clot would say the corp cannot score an agenda on the during the turn on which they installed that agenda. And so that would be unfortunate for me, right? Because this would just stop me from scoring at all. And the Shaper faction, which is the green faction, has really good ways of accessing this Clot from anywhere on the board. They can pull it out of their deck very, very easily. I wonder if I'm supposed to do my shuffle now. I don't think so. So what I then do is I use Mavirus so that I can, without spending an action, purge all virus counters. Because normally it costs my entire turn as the corporation to purge virus counters. Let's res this ablative barrier. We're going to put a Rashida in server 6, I think. Okay, so my opponent probably wins the game here, yeah. Well played. Yeah, so what you do is you cut the Oppo research and you put it in 2 viruses, I think. Okay, and then we'd have to find a cut, which probably is one of the Jacarandi, because it comes online so late. Okay. But yeah, so my whole goal as the Corp is not to protect my agendas in any kind of meaningful way. It's to score them from hand. And Clot is normally a problem, so Mavirus is usually then your solution to the problem. It's the tech, counter tech. And Netrunner, unlike Magic, like, my impression of Magic, as someone who's only played it fairly casually, is while there is, like, tech, it's pretty soft tech. Like, it's, oh, this card's a little bit better than its normal mana cost. Like, I can kind of 1-for-1 or 2-for-1 in the right circumstances. Whereas there's stuff in Netrunner that's like, if I put down this tech card, the way my opponent wins just doesn't work. And it's pretty common because there's no sideboarding in Netrunner, that you just have to play it straight up. So like the cost actually comes in the deck slots and what matchups you tech for. And the fact, like, to be honest, for the last year, like, forgetting the Mavirus wouldn't matter because no one was actually playing Clot. But the Shaper faction has really good access to Clot from their deck and stuff. And so I definitely need Mavirus back in this list. Hey, Minstrel, thanks for the game. I feel quite silly for forgetting Clot, but it did give me a reason to explain how silver bullets work in Netrunner. They are becoming less common, but it's been a pretty big part of the design pattern for a long time, and it's still not unheard of. But yeah, we did 3 hours of HB today. I hope everyone enjoyed. I had a ton of fun. And that's going to be it for me. Tomorrow, of course, we've got Andre and the Metropole Grid. On Saturday, I think on the Null Signal games, yeah, so I stream just about every Wednesday, starting usually around 7 p.m. Eastern. I'd love to have you come by. You've got Andre streaming live tomorrow, starting at about 8:45 Eastern, I think, is when he's pretty rigorously on the Metropole Grid, obviously. And then on Saturday, I was saying that there's going to be a Continental stream. That's going to be live in-person streams, which should be a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that the Pichachon closeout was pretty reasonable. It's potentially a losing line, but we'll see. And thanks for the good luck, Andre. Yeah, I will be playing. It's going to be Radiant and Whiteblade running the event with a bunch of support from other people. Cascadia is going to be a good time. Yeah, I'm getting on the plane Friday morning. I still have to figure out what decks I'm going to bring. Probably none of these three, though Asa definitely felt better than I was expecting it to. So that's good signs. But I think with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Cascadia next weekend, and then I'm hoping to be back and actually making content, in particular a getting into standard video, because I think people should get right into standard, and for the people that have been playing startup, this is the best time to get into standard. Andre, I think, is going to beat me to the punch on that one, but I'm going to try and put my own stuff out as well. So have a good night, everyone.